Happy Thanksgiving, everyone, and welcome back to our latest edition of Rambler Sports Soccer. I'm Tori VanArsdale.
And I'm Kihmm.
Coming up, we talk NFL Thanksgiving moments and Loyola men's basketball over Chicago State.
All this and more this week in Rambler Sports Locker.
The Bears are coming off their bye week after a controversial loss against the Steelers in Week 10, where officials called a taunting penalty on a defensive player. They currently stand 3-6 and are ranked third in the NFC North Division. They will now gear up to face the Detroit Lions on Thanksgiving Day. This is a classic matchup between the two teams dating back to 1934, as they were the first nationally broadcasted NFL game on the radio. For more about the Bears' history on Thanksgiving is RSL reporter Chloe Morrissey.
Thanksgiving Day football games have been a tradition for about 145 years, dating all the way back to about 1876. At the time, only high school and college football teams were known to take the field on Thanksgiving Day. The Thanksgiving Day tradition really took off in 1934, when the Detroit Lions hosted the Chicago Bears, who were undefeated at the time. Lions owner George A. Richards, who was also a radio executive, decided to have the team play and broadcast the game live on Thanksgiving Day in order to attract more fans. The game was held at University of Detroit Stadium, and a sold-out crowd of 26,000 fans were in attendance. This was the largest crowd to watch professional football in Detroit at the time. The Bears won this game 19-16, but from this loss came a Thanksgiving Day staple. The Lions have hosted a Thanksgiving Day game ever since. Chicago fans can certainly hope for a repeat of 1934, as the Bears are playing the Lions on Thanksgiving at 11:30. For the Rambler Sports Locker, I'm Chloe Morrissey, and happy Thanksgiving.
Thank you, Chloe.
Keeping on the subject of football, sports fans across the nation make it a tradition to gather around the TV and watch the game going on as the turkey roasts in the oven. To give you her take on Thanksgiving football and this long-lasting tradition is RSL reporter Gabbi Lumma.
As Thanksgiving approaches us, so do the Thanksgiving Day football games. The day consists of Americans' two favorite things, sports and a lot of food. The best part of the tradition is that most viewers don't even have to leave their couches to participate. The games bring families together to watch, even families that are divided between the teams. Gathering together is such an important aspect of the holiday, and in my opinion, something that the football game helps with. The Thanksgiving Day football game has been an American tradition for over 80 years, dating back to 1934. Families around the country even started to hold their own Thanksgiving Day football games. In my opinion, families having their own football games adds to the fun. Before sitting down to feast, a game of football makes players even more hungry. It is also another way of bringing friends and families together, with some friendly competition before a feast. The Detroit Lions and the Dallas Cowboys are two teams that always host the games, with the third team played by different teams every year. Some flaws to the game include bringing families together that may be rooting for opposite teams, which may cause some arguments. This year, there are 3 games set throughout the day. First, at 12:30 p.m., the Chicago Bears face the Detroit Lions. At 4:30 p.m., the Las Vegas Raiders will go against the Dallas Cowboys. To end the night, the Buffalo Bills will face the New Orleans Saints at 8:20 p.m. I, along with many other Bears fans, am excited to hopefully see the Chicago Bears take home a win. Any which way you slice it, the game embraces every idea behind Thanksgiving. Stuffed with food, smiles, and being with friends and family, the Thanksgiving Day football game should continue for many years to come. For the Rambler Sports Locker, I'm Gabbi Lumma.
Thanks, Gabby. In Loyola news, the women's basketball team took a tough loss against the Northwestern Wildcats Wednesday night. The Ramblers lost 63-47 on the road in Evanston, which put them on a 2-game losing streak with a 1-2 record. They hope to mirror a win like the men's basketball team did on Tuesday against Chicago State this Saturday.
That's right, the men's basketball team beat the Cougars in a dominant win with a score of 92-56. We're grateful for our RSL reporter, Chloe Morrissey, for going out on Tuesday to give us the highlights on the Ramblers' win.
I'm standing here in Gentile Arena after the Loyola men's basketball team earned their 3rd victory of the season in a blowout game against the Chicago State Cougars with a final score of 92-56. This win gives Loyola its 2nd consecutive 3-0 start to a season. Ahir Ugwak sank 2 dunks, one being on the fast break with less than 5 minutes remaining in the first half of the game. Braden Norris was able to set the team on a hot streak around the 13.5-minute mark of the second half after making a three-pointer. Teammates Tate Hall, Ryan Schwieger, and St. Thomas followed, each putting up a three-pointer of their own, with a total of 4 three-pointers being scored within a minute and a half. Ryan Schwieger paced the Ramblers tonight, scoring a total of 22 points and was 8 for 8 on free throw attempts. The Chicago State Cougars were unable to connect tonight and lost many points due to turnovers. The Ramblers will gear up for another home game this Saturday against UIC at 3 p.m. For the Rambler Sports Locker, I'm Chloe Morrissey.
Thank you, Chloe. Thanksgiving is fast approaching. It's a time where family and friends come together, share a meal, watch football, and remember what they're most thankful for. Here to bring in the top 5 NFL Thanksgiving moments is RSL reporter Amelia Villhauer.
We're approaching that special time of year, Ramblers. Time to break out the turkey, stuffing, and every other food that makes Thanksgiving as delicious as it is. But of course, we can't forget the tradition that gathers the family around the TV, football. Let's take a look at the top 5 Thanksgiving moments in NFL history. Starting at number 5, we have something as small as a coin flip ensuing chaos for the 1998 Lions vs. Steelers game. When the Steelers were asked what side of the coin they choose, running back Jerome Bettis said tails. However, head official Phil Luckett misheard Bettis and thought that he said heads. The Lions went on to win the game, and the Steelers didn't see another win for the rest of the season. Coming in at number 4, in a 1997 game, Barry Sanders of the Detroit Lions destroyed the Chicago Bears by rushing 167 yards. Sanders scored 3 touchdowns in just one game. Man, a loss like that for Chicago was simply unbearable. At number 3, picture this. It's 1993, and it looks as if the Cowboys are about to take down the Dolphins in a score of 14-13. The Dolphins are set up for a field goal, which ends up being blocked, which should be the end of the game if it wasn't for Cowboys player Leon Lett, who tried to pick up the ball and fumbled it. The Dolphins ended up recovering the ball and taking home that victory. Coming down to number 2, in 1998, the Minnesota Vikings wide receiver Randy Moss shocked football fans with his epic performance, which included 3 catches, 163 yards, and 3 touchdowns. Someone was certainly eating good that night. And finally, for the number 1 Thanksgiving moment in NFL history, we have the butt fumble of 2012. In a game of the Jets versus Patriots, the Jets were losing real bad with the score 14-0 in favor of the Patriots. Midway through the second quarter, Jets quarterback Mark Sanchez was attempting to take off for a few yards, but didn't get very far as he ran directly into the backside of Jets guard Brandon Moore. Patriots scored and ended up winning in a final score of 49-19, but the biggest loss was for Sanchez as #buttfumble started to trend on Twitter that night. Make sure to bundle up and eat well this holiday. For Rambler Sports Locker, I'm Amelia Villhauer.
Thank you, Amelia. We're grateful for the Loyola men's volleyball team who recently partnered up with the Movember organization in support of men's health issues. The team is growing out their mustaches, selling t-shirts, and accepting donations to help support young men in need. With more details on the project is RSL reporter Andrea Barone.
The Loyola men's volleyball team has hopped on the No Shave November trend once again. The team has paired up with the Movember organization, which focuses on men's mental health, suicide prevention, prostate, and testicular cancer. The annual Movember event started back in 2003 when men across the country grew out their mustaches in the name of men's mental and physical health awareness. Since then, the group has raised enough money to fund 1,250 health projects worldwide. This is the men's volleyball team's 9th year in a row growing out their best mustaches through the month of November to raise awareness for men dying too young. The team is also selling t-shirts and accepting donations to go to the leading charity organization, Movember. For Rambler Sports Locker, I'm Andrea Barone.
After a deal was signed in September to move the Bears to Arlington Heights, Illinois, Chicago fans were disappointed in the move of the team.
However, some city officials are petitioning to keep the team in the city. For more on this developing story is RSL reporter Victoria Williams.
Chicago City Council floor leader Alderman George Cardenas introduced a feasibility study on the city purchasing the Chicago Bears. Mayor Lori Lightfoot has been advised by Cardenas to do everything possible to keep the Bears in Chicago. This includes the possibility of the city purchasing the team and selling shares to fans, similar to the model of the Green Bay Packers. According to Forbes magazine, the Bears are valued at $4.6 billion, which is 16% higher than last year. The team's value could continue to increase if it relocates to a new stadium in Arlington Heights. But this purchase is no guarantee. The proposal noted that there may be financial or legal barriers to the city acquiring an ownership stake in the NFL franchise. Veteran sports writer Lester Munson called a city purchase of the Bears, quote, implausible to say the least, end quote. For Rambler Sports Locker, I'm RSL reporter Victoria Williams.
Thanks, Victoria. The Chicago Blackhawks ranked second to last in Central Division of the National Hockey League, despite being undefeated with their new interim head coach Derek King. His first few weeks on the job have put the Blackhawks in a better place than they were before the shift in the coaching staff.
That's right, and this week the Blackhawks were finally able to celebrate right-wing Marian Hossa's induction into the Hockey Hall of Fame after being postponed due to sexual assault allegations against team managers a few weeks ago. For more on this celebration is RSL reporter Abbey Sileo.
This past Monday, former Chicago Blackhawks forward Marian Hossa was officially inducted into the Hockey Hall of Fame. A member of the class of 2020, he had to wait over a year for his induction due to COVID-19. His selection for this prestigious honor in his first year of eligibility comes as no surprise to Blackhawks fans. A 31-year-old Hossa signed with the Blackhawks as a free agent on July 1st, 2009. Before this, he spent the past 2 seasons on Stanley Cup final losing teams, and he was hungry for his first ring. With young superstars Patrick Kane and Jonathan Toews on the rise, a veteran like Hossa would bring much-needed mentorship to the team. Hossa's impact was instant. During his first season with the Blackhawks, Hossa scored 51 points in the 57 games he played, making him the team's 5th top scorer. In 2010, he helped lead his team to their first Stanley Cup final since 1992. He became the first player in NHL history to go to the Stanley Cup final 3 years in a row with 3 different teams. But this year, Hossa finally won the Stanley Cup, the Blackhawks' first since 1961. After 2010, he continued to perform, scoring up to 77 points in a season, which he did in 2012. He was also a key component of the Hawks' eventual dynasty, winning the Stanley Cup in 2013 and 2015. A skin condition unexpectedly ended Hossa's career in 2017. By the end of his career, he scored 1,134 points in 1,309 games. It's no surprise that many consider him to be the best free agent signing in Chicago sports history. His impact on the organization is undeniable, and he gave fans so much to be thankful for during his 8 seasons with the Blackhawks. For Rambler Sports Locker, I'm Abbey Sileo.
Thank you, Abby. That's all for this week's edition of Rambler Sports Locker. We hope you all have a great Thanksgiving break.
To stay up to date on all things Rambler Sports, be sure to follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Loyola RSL. From all of us here at Rambler Sports Locker, I'm Kihmm.
And I'm Tori VanArsdale. And don't forget to turn out the lights.